प्यारे श्रोतागणों को प्यार भरा जय गुरुजी और नमस्ते। रूहानी जस्तजू का आज ये 10वां भाग है। In the last 9 episodes, we have had conversations about Guruji, his grace, his teachings, his satsangs, but all with the sweet aunties. This is the first time ever we bring an uncle on our podcast. Uncle भी वो जो गुरुजी के ग्वांडी रह चुके हैं, his neighbor in an Empire State. Please welcome Atul Kapoor, also known as Binny Uncle, on this show. Welcome, Uncle.
Yeah, Guruji, glad to be here amongst
Jai
all
Guruji.
10 women or 9 women or whatever.
You are the pioneer.
Pioneer.
So thank you for joining us. And ये दिवाली स्पेशल है तो थोड़े sparklers तो बनते हैं. And we also know from the old timers about your sense of humor. And I personally used to see you front and center with Sati and Bippy Uncle. So excited to have you with us.
Thank you. Pleasure is all mine.
So there is
I
a
normally
saying.
don't do this. Let me be honest. I normally don't
I
do
know.
these Zoom satsangs and stuff like that. And, I feel a satsang really needs to come from the heart.
Yeah.
And
I
I've
agree.
seen this thing and I said, chalo, why not?
Yeah, I agree. Uncle, we all never used to do Zoom
Something.
satsangs pre-COVID. So anyway, there is a saying, love thy neighbor, right? So when did you realize who your neighbor was?
Well, I realized who my neighbor was, Sudanti, a long time ago. And, it was a lady living right next door in Empire State.
Right.
And, 1 year, I don't know when it was, I think 97 or 98 maybe, there was a lot of activity in that house. People would come and people would go, and mostly this would start at about 6, 7 in the evening. And we would be out for a walk and one would just have a look. And, then I asked somebody once and they said, जी कोई महाराज जी रहते हैं यहाँ पे, वो पंजाब से आए हुए हैं. So I was, yeah, okay, fine, honestly speaking, I was very skeptical about gurus and maharajas and all that stuff, And one day I was walking over there and I met my wife, met her, and she asked her, because astrologer हैं या बाबा जी हैं, हाथ देखते हैं, क्या करते हैं? So Sunanti said, नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, आओ, come and meet him. So she told me, let's go. I said, yeah, kindly leave me out of this stuff. You go. And well, she went, to cut a long story short. And she came back and she was like, very nice. So I said, what was nice? She said, there was Guruji sitting over there and there were 10, 15 people more. And there was chai prasad and there was langar they gave, samosa prasad. And I sat there and I came back. So I said, then what happened? She said, nothing happened. So I said, did you speak to him? She said, I understand a word of what he said. And because he used to speak very Thet Punjabi. But he did say something, apne husband leke aayi. So she said, you must come. Sudha auntie also said, leke aana. I said, listen, I don't want to get involved into all this. But come. So anyway, 2-3 days later, we just went along and walked in. And, there he was. And the first thing was, he looks up and he says, Ki galla aaj Gwandi aayen. Means,
wow, I use that exact word.
Yeah, so आज ग्वांडी आए हैं. मैं क्या, हाँ जी, आओ बैठो. So sat down and then something, he started talking. I can still speak Punjabi and I would catch on to a few words of what he would say. And so somewhere down the line, he said something like, he tells Namrita, let us try karna, ye lagda hai. So, and those were the exact thoughts which she had in her mind, and she smiled and whatever else. So that was really the first instance that I met with him. And I don't know, it was like a magnetic attraction.
Right.
And probably it went both ways. And so next day, the same day when I was leaving, he said, Aya karo. So I said, okay. I said, there was no harm in going. It just was nice. So I started going back. And then from once a week, twice a week, it became 3 times a week and 4 times a week. And then there would be a time when he would ask for me. And then Chotu Bhaiya next door would come and say, Guruji, yaad kar rahe hain. So I would go across and we kind of developed a bond. So, that's where the journey really started. And people were growing. We used to sit upstairs and there were 10 people, 15 people, 20. Then it became 50, 70, 100 people. That's when we started sitting downstairs. So that was really the first interaction that I had with him right next door, which is way back in 98.
Got it. Yeah. And I think we started our journey in early 99. I want to say February of 99. And I remember your beautiful daughters. I
They're
think
still beautiful, let me tell you.
yeah, I know, but they're not poor anymore.
Well, no.
Yeah.
24 maybe is more like it.
Yeah. What was their reaction?
They were too young. They were probably way too young. But yeah, they would come. I mean, the younger one was not even born then. She was born late 99. Ananya, my older one, was born. And she was like the star. She would like walk in and, Guruji would have this
Yes, with her
smile.
dupattas and silk dupattas. I was like, what
Yeah,
sass?
and then she would come and she would look around and, look at
Yes.
people to say, notice me, I'm here. And then everybody would come and do Namaste to Guruji, and she would come and shake hands with him. And he would also smilingly take out his hand and shake it and then give a smile or whatever else. Yeah, they started coming from a pretty early age. My second one was probably born in front of Guruji in sense that he's the one who blessed her birth and stuff like that. And that was another story of Namrita's pregnancy that led to her birth and the doctor being shocked.
Right. And tell me about a moment, Uncle, where you feel like you had an experience that nearly shook your faith. And how did you recover from it, if any?
See, I don't know if I can say shook my faith. It probably strengthened my faith. Okay. Okay, since we're talking about my daughter, let's kind of, move with that. So this was when Namrita was pregnant with the second one. During her first pregnancy, she had something known as an allergy to pregnancy, which the doctor said is a very, very rare thing in a human body, something to do with your blood groups, because she was
I've never heard of it. Yeah.
Because she was an O negative.
Okay.
I was a positive, so there is that some chromosome, something, whatever.
Yeah.
So during the first pregnancy, she was allergic to pregnancy, which was diagnosed, and said second time when she has a baby, it might be tough. So anyway, went along. Everything was going smoothly. Of course, she would get this severe itch and rash in her body, and that carried on through her 9 months and whatever. And I'll come to the end of it all. And sometimes I think she was born on 27th of April. Sometimes around, I think, a week prior to that or something, she was very uncomfortable. And she would go to Guruji and say, sab theek hai, whatever else, fikr mat kar. Fine. I think 26th April, I still remember, it was about 11 o'clock or 10:30 at night. And we were sitting there, Langar had just finished. And out of the blue, I used to sit with him, chai prasad le yaar, prasad rakhi hai wo. So he called for me and he said, Namrita kithe? मेरी पीछे बैठी है, उन्होंने बुला, out of nowhere. I called for her. She says, doctor ने क्या है, cesarean कर दे कल. So she took me and I look at her and doctor saying everything is going well. What's the hurry? Why do you want to? So कहती गुरुजी की सुनाई नहीं देता. मैं क्या डॉक्टर ने क्या कल cesarean कर दे. So, you can't really speak to him because he speaks to us. Okay, shook her head. She was like, why do I need to have a cesarean done? It's heading towards a normal delivery, whatever else. Anyway, I said, you go home, go sleep now. We'll figure about it in the morning. At about 3 o'clock in the morning, she wakes me up and says, I can't feel any movement at all for the last 1 hour. There's zero movement. So I said, what do we do? Anyway, it was too late at night. So we waited till about 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning. We called up the doctor and she says, rush here immediately. Let me do an ultrasound and check or whatever else. So we reached the hospital. And the doctor says, I can feel the heartbeat, but there is no movement. And at that, there should be movement. So anyway, to cut a long story short, she wheeled her in for a cesarean. And she said there could be some distress, there could be something, whatever else. And she operated, and of course, everything was worked out well, and a baby girl was born to us. When I came and told Guruji in the afternoon, he said, "मैं राती क्या सी? मैं माँ ते बेटी दोनों ने बचाया." And the doctor was shocked. She said, there's no reason to have done this, but suddenly the movements have stopped. and he had said it the previous night कि उन्होंने कहा कल cesarean कर दे. So these are things which, again, like you said, whether they shake the faith or they strengthen the faith, but that was one of the few instances which have
awesome. That's a beautiful one.
Yeah.
Any other big aha moments with Sahib? You spent so many late nights with him, so we want to know more about that.
Late nights were drinking coffee and going
Oh,
for
not
dinner.
chai?
Yeah, well, he would take us for coffee. He would have chai.
Right. Yeah, randomly to these fancy 5 stars. I know.
Yeah, we've been to most of them, and it would be like people would be like, "Shit, who's this guy?" He would love to wear his shorts and sneakers and flashy red T-shirt with Adidas written on the side or whatever else. Yeah, so we would go very often, almost every night, maybe 3 times a week, because he would finish. So once the langar was going on, he would call for me and say, "Sudha nu ke langar pack kar de, mandir chalne hain." So that time the bada mandir was being made.
Correct. Yeah.
So he would like to go there. So we would go at night, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I would spend nights with him over there in the big hall. Means कभी तो बन रहा था, हम बाहर बरांडे में सोते थे. He would put a charpai over there and just crash out, and we would just lie down on the floor there till 6 in the morning. And then I would drive him back to the Empire Estate. And at 6 o'clock, he'd say, "Jana hai, rukna hai?" And I'd look at him, Guruji, we've been up all night. You might have the energy.
Yeah, हमारी बस हो गई है.
6 o'clock in the morning, then he would say, "Acha, cha pee ke ja fir." So 6 o'clock again, we would have a cup of tea, and then he would go into part, and we would try and go leave for work at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or whatever it was. So yeah, there were nights where we did that. There were nights where we would go to India Gate for a walk and be hauled up by the cops, because suddenly at 2 o'clock in the morning, the security would see there's this man walking, and there are 50 people walking behind him and just doing, what. So there would be a patrol car that would come and ask, and, generally whatever else. And so those were fun times. And of course, then going to your parents would be there. I don't know if you were there, and you would go for tea to the Oberois, or sometimes to the Moria Hotel. And in the lobby over there, people would be staring at us. I don't know if you remember, there was a nightclub called Ghungru.
Yes, I do.
I've taken him there.
Oh, yes, somebody told me about it. I think Bambi auntie told me about it.
So we came out from a coffee shop, and we were all standing there, and a lot of people were going down, and he said, "Kithe ja rahe hain thalle?" मैं गुरुजी उत्थे वो डिस्को तक है वो की होता है मैं गुरुजी डिस्को मतलब डांस टूंस कर देने आओ देखिए so we just walked down the steps, and he peeped in, and loud music and this and that, and he made a U-turn and went back up, and people are looking at us. When his car would come, then everybody would go down to Matha Teko, and in the parking lot of the Moria Hotel that would happen, and people would be like in disbelief or belief, and who's he, what's he, that kind of stuff. So those
God knows उसको bless करने गए होंगे वहां पर भी. Who knows?
उसको करने के कोई वेटर हो सकता है, कोई कौन हो सकता है, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
No, and he would not touch a thing. He would not. He had probably maximum, mineral bottled water. Sudha auntie would ask for him or something, but he would not eat or drink anything. But he would ensure that all of us had a party.
Yes.
Then he would tell somebody or the other to kind of foot the bill or something. So somebody would pay the bill, few thousand rupees for coffee or maybe sandwiches or pakoras or something. As it is at 3 o'clock in the morning, it would be tough to eat at that time. So yeah, those were some really good times, and I have traveled out of the city with him for weddings to Chandigarh. If I mistake not, I think we came for something in your. I don't know where was it.
Yes, my first wedding in Chandigarh.
Okay, so I remember coming for that. And we were put up at some club over there, or some mess.
Everybody was there. Yes.
The mess was there, and we all drove, and then we drove back, and that was a fun one. That was a fun one too. And then I also remember you coming to our house in Garden Estate. I remember.
Yes. Oh, yes, I did. The only time. Yes.
That must have been maybe 12, 15 years ago, but I don't remember.
I think longer.
Maybe. Yeah, so those were the good times. And so like I said, after the first time, it was that magnetic reaction, interaction that took place. And thereafter, for many, many years, till I moved out of Empire Estate and moved on, I would be, with him most of the time and take him for a shave in the afternoon, in the evenings. My wife Namrita would take him for a shave in the car. And
He would go even for physical therapy, someplace
yeah,
in Gurgaon.
Gurgaon he used to go. Then he used to go to Vasant Kunj for a haircut. Where sometimes his Baba would come home and other times he would like to go there himself. And it was just an outing for him. Let's put it this way, all day. We used to go to Connaught Place at night, to a place called Mon Singh Place. There used to be a place where there used to be a chai wala sitting outside the Hanuman Mandir over there. And we would go and have chai with him over there. And so it was different, very different. And that time he would tell us, he says, "Yaad karoge wo din," which is true.
Okay, this is absolutely true. Absolutely.
He says, "You don't know how lucky you are that ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਏ, ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠਾ ਹੋਇਆ, and you can touch me, you can feel me, you can see me, you can interact with me." He said, "मेरे जान तो बाद लाइनां लगणगीਆਂ." And we would like look at him, गुरुजी ठीक है, I mean, हर जगह
हमें तब समझ नहीं आई थी. You're right. You're right. We couldn't understand.
बड़े मंदिर में we would go and he would say, "तो लखा लोकी आएगा." And we would look at him, ठीक है गुरुजी, I mean, I'm sure, but so yes, so that was, so there was a a lot of people, sometimes I sit and think, people ask me what, there was a human side to him, and then suddenly there was a non-human side to him. So that is what people would never understand. When he was in his human side, he was a different element, and when he was in a non-human, I wouldn't say he would change, but there was something about his aura, which when he would come and sit on that gaddi of his after, because I would take him for a shave at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and he would come back in shorts and t-shirts and then go in, and then around 7 o'clock he would come and sit at Empire Estate on his chair. And at that time there was a sudden transition. What would happen in that time, nobody knows. So there would be days where he would be in a fabulous mood, and there would be days when he would be in a foul mood. And in those foul mood days, if you got onto his wrong side, which I would many a times do, in good humor, you would get it from him. And one of those instances, I remember us standing near the kitchen door, and he would call us like this, So either me or Vippy or Sati or somebody would be standing there just to see that if he needs anything. So, I went up to him and he would turn around and he muttered something. And I came back to the kitchen and asked me, "Kya मांग रहे हैं?" मैंने कहा, "आंटी पता नहीं चाय मांगे या पानी मांगा है." Now the question was, who's going to bell the cat and go and ask him again? So it had to be me. So I would go back and very hesitantly, "Guruji की मंगी ऐसी कमलिया समझ नहीं आंदी चाह क्या है?" So he would scold you in a good way. And kamleya in Punjabi means whatever, crazy man, kamleya. So then go back, take the tea and this and that. And when he was in a good mood, a lot of people ask me, what did he preach? He was never a preacher.
Right.
He was never a preacher कि वो बैठ के कुछ समय रात को sermon सुनाते थे या कुछ. So people would ask, क्या तुम इतनी देर तक बैठ रहे हो, तो करते क्या हो? And honestly, I don't know. But you would still end up spending 6 hours over there. From 8
and you would want to. You would want
to hide कि छुट्टी ना दे दें जाने को घर.
छुट्टी ना दे दें, exactly. Yes.
People would be sitting on the sides and in the corners trying to.
हम आंखें बंद कर लेते थे ऐसे करके
कि गुरुजी देखे ना उठे. And he would single you out के.
चलो गुड़गांव वाले चलो छुट्टी.
नोएडा वाले, no idea वाले.
No idea.
And then he would come and say, "चलो आंटी शो खत्म हो गया, चलो."
Yes.
He would send you off like that, and there are so many, because I wish at that time there was the invention of the mobile phone. I would have had like maybe 20,000 moments with him, which one could have captured. The looks, his expression, his smile, his everything. It was different.
Yes.
What we see today is just pictures and some few videos here and there.
Correct. But he wanted it that way, I guess. And it's exactly happening according to his divine plan.
So those were the good old days.
Yes.
When we were neither good nor old.
Sorry?
I said those were the good old days when we were neither good nor old.
No. We're still gold. Let's put it that way.
Old and gold, there's a difference.
Old is gold. Old is gold. What would you encapsulate as one of your biggest learning with Sahib?
I think one of the biggest learnings was humility and, faith and believe in whatever you believe. It didn't matter. He would say so many times, I would say, Guruji, wo Shraddh. I remember when my mother had passed away or something, my father had passed away, Shraddh. He says, Shraddh Shuru, Mane karo ye cheezan. You're actually, he was anti-Shraddhs. I remember him telling me very clearly, he says, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਰਾਧ ਮਨਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰੂਹ ਨੂੰ ਤੜਪ you reconnect with the soul and cause it harm.
And you cause pain for the departed soul.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
So he would not. So they were very simple things. He would never, he would never enforce anything on you. I like the simplicity of the ritual of going to him. There were no rules. There was no this thing, non-veg kha ke mat aana, though we would never do it. But, he never really stopped those things. So it was not rigid in terms of what you had to do. It was a very simple following. Be a good person, be a good human being, be a good neighbor, be a good father, mother, sister, son, husband, whatever you want to be. Just be good, do good for others. And that was probably he did not put any restriction. I remember going for weddings with him and having a drink.
Right. Yeah.
Asked for by him. I mean, not that he would drink. I remember we were standing at the back at some wedding and he called for us. Ki kar rahe ho? Kya Guruji, kuch nahi hai. जाओ फिर जाके ड्रिंक लगाओ, पैग लगाओ, व्याह पे आयो, चौथे थोड़ी आयो. Those were his words. So I said, Anji Guruji, जाओ, आज bless कर देती है. So, he would never say, don't come near me or don't come this thing. So he had a very simple life. And I think that's what I kind of liked about it. And down the line, so did my family. And everybody would come and there were no restrictions to coming, going. That was probably of course, there were so many moments. If I sit down to remember them, we can talk for like the next couple of hours. It still wouldn't finish. And so those were the. Or aap batao, what was your learning?
Oh, I am still learning. The learning never ends.
Yeah, learning never ends. That's true.
Yeah. My one line summation of Guru Sahib, as my father used to say this line a lot, was Tera ant kise nahi paya.
Sorry?
Anytime, Tera ant kise nahi paya.
Nahi paya.
Anytime we feel like, oh my God, we've seen enough or we know enough or we've heard enough, he will take you a level deeper. And it's like, you look at the tip of the iceberg and you don't know how deep it is below the surface. That's how I feel about Guru Sahib's divinity, that it's something that we can't even fathom.
Yeah.
So क्या हम उनके बारे में क्या बताएं और क्या समझाएं और क्या सिखाएं, क्योंकि I feel like we're ourselves lifelong students. And to your point, our souls must have done something right in its prior lifetime or whatever, however
to
the
come
system.
And connect here, to come and land in this.
That we were able to see him and be with him and touch him and to feel him. And it's, that's the biggest blessing. So, and that's exactly the sentiment that keeps me going. Yeah, otherwise life will shake you up nice and proper.
Right, absolutely. But it's the faith and the belief that keeps you going.
Yes.
No, there's a very interesting, I'll try and explain this to you. There are times where I'm sure you also in your life would have thought of this, maybe when you got remarried or whatever else, life takes you in all directions. Yeah, Guruji, ye kya hua ji, things didn't work out. And I'm being very honest, I'm sure it must have crossed your mind.
Absolutely.
It had crossed my mind also. So it crossed my mind also when my mother was very unwell. And she used to be a good devout follower, and he would come and she passed away after 40 days in a hospital. And though I would come across and he would say, anyway, bottom line was she passed away. And initially I had a little bit of anger in my mind. We talk so much that Guruji, and she was young, she wasn't very old. And then one day I was sitting and somebody said a very nice thing. Not somebody said, it crossed my mind. Let's see, I hope I get this correct. That Guruji is not God. Okay? God is Guruji. So if you try and listen to that, so it's not that he's God, he can do everything. Guruji is not God, but God is Guruji. So whatever is happening is a God's will through him.
Right.
I mean, if you try and see what I'm
And
trying to say. Because
yeah, and Guruji
my
used to
friends
say,
would tell
right?
me, यार क्या हुआ यार तुम्हारे तो गुरुजी हैं तुम तो बड़ा believe करते हो, how come this happened, how come that happened, and that's when the answer dawned upon me कि यार this is destiny, this is to happen.
No, Guruji used to say all the time, अपने कर्म तो कटने हैं.
बिल्कुल. So this is destiny, this has to happen. He would say मैं तुम्हारे कर्म, I can make your path or journey easier. Okay? But I cannot cut it short. But I
Absolutely.
cannot make it longer.
Yeah.
If you have to go through a surgery or something and it's meant to happen, I will ease the path. But coming back to a surgery, I'll tell you about my wife again, which was after he had taken control. I'm talking of 2012 and 13. My wife was discovered with a brain tumor, had to go in for emergency surgery.
God, I wasn't aware.
Yeah, 2013 or something. And so when we walked into the doctor's hospital, and she really didn't have very many symptoms, occasional headaches here and there. And we just went for a preventive. And there was a tumor which was, this is a marble, this is like a ping pong ball, then you have a billiard ball, and then you have a tennis ball. So the tumor was as big as a tennis ball in your head, if you can imagine.
Oh my God. Yeah.
All right. And so the doctor was like flabbergasted when he looked at the report and he looked at her and he says, "Have you walked in?" So she says, "Yes." And you said you've been driving till yesterday? She says, "Yes."
Yeah.
He says, this is shocking because never in my life have I seen a patient with a tumor this size walking, saying no symptoms. So that was the first start of the whole thing. And he says, "Listen, you have to have surgery done emergency. It's not good. You're lucky you've had no symptoms. It could, go either way. So I would suggest do it in the next couple of days, and you want to go home, discuss it out. It will be a long surgery. It's going to be a tough surgery." And so the first thing that came to mind was Guruji. That time Sudha auntie was not here. She was in Canada. And we went to the Chota Mandir in the morning. And I think it was 7 o'clock when we reached there, because the previous night, after this whole episode had happened of the doctor and the diagnosis, I couldn't sleep all night, tossing and turning. And suddenly at about 4 or 5 in the morning, I had a flash of Guruji's darshans. Sitting in his chair in the room where he sits, chonkdi marke, he like to sit like that or whatever else, or sitting like that. And I open the door, he calls me in, and he doesn't say a word. I don't say a word to him. It's like he knows what's happened. It was 30 seconds, maybe less. And he gives me prasad with one hand, which I can't hold with two.
Right.
Okay. And you used to know how much he used to give. So मैं दोनों हाथा नाल इस तरह लेता. And it was white, it was rasgullas with a lot of chashni.
Wow. Okay.
And all over.
It was dripping. Yes.
Yeah. And gone, finished. So we woke up and I was start. At 7 o'clock we went there and Chotu Bhaiya was there, and I said, "Chotu Bhaiya, matha tekna." He says, "Kya ho gaya?" So he opened the room, went there, sat down, and it was like as though he had just gotten up from that sofa, because at 3:30 in the morning he was right there, and I had that same sofa background and everything in the room, and of course he was not there at that time physically, and so he gave me chai prasad. And 5 minutes later he says, "ऊपर आ जाओ." मैं, "क्या हो गया?" कह रहा, "सुधा आंटी आए हैं." मैंने कहा, "वो कब आए?" कहते, 2-3 दिन ही हुए हैं, अभी किसी को बताया नहीं है उन्होंने, बिकॉज वो जेट लैग है या व्हाटएवर एल्स इट इज. सो अम्मा कह रही है ऊपर ही आ जाओ. सो वेंट अप, सैट डाउन विद हर. शी सेड, "क्या हो गया?" मैंने कहा, "आंटी ऐसी ऐसी बात हुई है." शी सेड, "फिक्र मत करो, गुरुजी ने दर्शन दिए हैं तो जरूर कल्याण करेंगे." एंड शी टेल्स छोटू भैया कुछ प्रसाद वगैरह कुछ लाओ. तो इसे कुछ नहीं है. अच्छा, इसे मैं देखता हूँ. ही कम्स बैक. इसे पता नहीं कल कोई डब्बा छोड़ गया था गेट के ऊपर, आंटी यही है. We opened that dabba, same white rasgullas with chashni in them. I mean, honestly, your hair will stand, but this is the reality.
Yeah,
You get goosebumps. And there was that box lying on the fridge. Somebody had left at the gate. And so anyway, that was
coincidences, as we say.
And then we went in, got admitted. Surgery took about 6 hours. And third day, she was discharged.
Jai Guruji.
And that's been then, and it's been X number of years now. So yeah, it's all a faith or a belief, but you have to, go through your journey. And
you have to, though he'll soften the blow for you. That I agree.
Yeah, so that's a softened
Or
blow.
he'll give you the strength to face it.
That's what I'm saying. That was the softening of the blow.
Yeah.
That okay, you went through the surgery, but you were home
Yeah.
3 days. You had no symptoms. You had no complications during the surgery. So you can either believe it or you cannot believe it. There's no.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no.
That's also a gift from him. I don't think it's really up to you to choose whether you want to believe or you don't want to believe.
Yeah.
Guruji decides.
You
So
would say ना मत बाहर छड़ के आया करो ना.
ah,
You would say मत
like,
बाहर छड़ के आया करो. Leave your ego and your mind behind. And
yes.
then come in. Complete surrender. That was his word. I remember now.
Yes,
Complete
yes, yes.
surrender.
In fact, I was meaning to ask you this because आपने तो काफी पंजाबी में उनके साथ गपशप मारी है. So are there any words verbatim spoken by Sahib himself that are today etched on your soul?
Well, complain as one for sure, because when we would get that beating from him, Kamleya. The other ones were like, he was he wasn't really, surrender is one of them, complete surrender. Which were the other words that he would use? In Punjabi, they would be very thet, and I wasn't that great at Punjabi. But like I said, so let me think if I can remember any words that were in Punjabi per se. But otherwise, it was surrender, it was ego, अपनी मत बार छड़ के आया करो, भलेकियां च ना पिया करो, don't get blinded. Paleke was one word.
Yes.
And, people would come and I still remember, if you remember, Arun Shori, Mr. Arun Shori used to come, who was the disinvestment minister. And I remember Guruji telling us one, "Eh, dekho kida kalyan kara ke gaya thu." He would walk in. He was a minister. Walk in. Whereas he says, "अरे कह रहे सब अपनी गड्डियां ले आना चाहते नहीं कि लाल बत्ती ला लेंदे न उत्ते ते कहंदे लेके आओ अंदर जी." And he said, "देखो minister बाहरों गेट तो चल के आंदा है." So he would talk about how much faith they would have and no ego of walking in. So those are the things he would say to leave behind.
Right.
So those were, I don't know, like I said, we come across not too many more people left now who have that old school of thought.
Yes.
Today, Guruji, I'm sorry to say, but he's become a commodity.
Very, very disappointing to see that.
Yeah, but you can't help it.
Painful.
It's a geometric progression which will only get, I don't know if worse is the right word. It will only get more.
It's only going to pick up more momentum. Yeah.
It's today it's a business. Today it's no longer about Guruji. It's more about it's more about everything else. If you know what I'm saying, it's just
exactly how the Kali Yuga is supposed to unfold.
True. And the sad and unfortunate times is that people start believing these things. It's a matter of time. If you keep telling a kid who's growing up, this is your mother and this is your mother, she'll start believing whether that is her mother or not her mother. So similarly today, people are being taught that Guruji they कहंदे सी ए मत कीता करो, Guruji कहंदे सी ओ मत कीता करो, Guruji कहंदे सी मंगलवार नु वर्त रखया करो, Guruji कहंदे सी इत्थे ना जाया करो, Guruji. There's nothing of that sort. But today's beliefs and faiths, I mean, people have you have mini Gurujis now. I come across so many people who I call mini Gurujis who came to me, Guruji dream में आए थे ना बोला ऐसे मत किया करो, Guruji dream में आए थे ना बोला ऐसे मत किया करो. I mean, what are you trying to, you're ridiculing him to bring him down to a level which is, sorry, but I get very.
You're right. It's heart-wrenching to see how people will edit Swaroops, write messages on that in a language that Guruji never spoke. Puttar tera aaj eh kitta, puttar tera o kitta. I'm like, really?
Leave alone edit of Swaroops. I mean, there was never this culture of Swaroops. You have shops running now. Guruji is a business. You have caterers. You have Swaroop shops. You have shops selling juttis and cholas and the works. So it is a business. Today, the Guruji catering services, Guruji ki favorite makki ki roti, sarso ka saag. Come on.
Whatever sells.
Yeah. Music, my God, in Guruji's time, it was only shabads and kirtans. Today, it's, fancy singers. I mean, they're good singers. I know many of them personally. But we never heard that stuff. Today, it's now orchestras.
It's happening everywhere.
Today, it's now orchestras. You see, it's like an IFA award. Satsang, sometimes you go to Delhi, it's like an IFA award. Only thing left is some movie stars to start walking in now, which will also
वो भी
happen.
आ रहे हैं
वो शुरू
वो
हो
भी
गए,
आ
बॉम्बे
रहे हैं
मंदिर खुल गया है, वो आने शुरू हो गए हैं वहां पे, and satsang started in movie stars' homes, so it's a matter of time that you'll probably see a movie being made on him.
Yeah. Like there's a line in Bani, right? Sab Govind hai. That's what I live by. Sab
Absolutely.
Govind hai.
So so it was. I mean, the other day I was invited to one. I didn't even go because I'll be honest, I only go to some of the old Sangat ones or some
Yeah.
people who are really friendly where we sit down. I mean, even today, Empire State, you've come.
Yeah.
We have nothing happening over there. We just have our Shabads play. What
Yeah.
Shabads used to play, you still sit
Yeah.
on the, mat and you have your
Yeah.
langar prasad, and it's a simple langar prasad.
That's how it should be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
today caterers have got special Guruji menus.
Wow.
I came across a caterer. He said, जी हम गुरुजी की केटरिंग करते हैं. मैं क्या करते हो उसके अंदर? जी गुरुजी का फेमस एक वो होता था पंजाब में छोले बनाने वाला, वो आता है, ये आता. So everybody is now clinging on to the bandwagon कि जी मैंने
Wow.
गुरुजी के लिए एक बार ही काम किया था, मैंने ये किया था. So now he's becoming famous and on the bandwagon, and music and
Oh my
sound
God.
and
That's unreal.
yeah. So like I said, you have got to change with the times. We are old school now.
We are the outliers and the
Yeah.
so-called
So
misfits. I agree.
so there's no point in even trying to tell somebody because it
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
suit
you
them, and
just know how to keep your mouth shut and ask only. I mean, speak only when asked. Otherwise, just pray to Guruji. Guruji, आप जानो, आपका काम जाने.
बिल्कुल.
We're not. So
That's the other word which used to say, "Gupt karo daan, gupt karo
yeah.
paat." So mouth shut.
Yeah.
Gupt means stay quiet.
Yes.
पाठ करो और अपना दान करो. You don't have to show कि हमने टेंट लगाया, 10,000 आदमी बुलाए और इतने का खाना बना और ये और वो और parkings and lines, and so it's becoming a one-man ship now.
Yeah. It is. And everybody's favorite question, like the Sholay movie, is कितने आदमी आए थे?
हाँ,
Like,
बिल्कुल.
yeah, why is that question of
Best question. गाने कौन गा रहे हैं ऐसी?
हाँ. Yeah.
गाने
ये
नहीं
खाना
सुनते
बड़ा
थे
स्वाद था. And
गुरुजी.
I cringe. I was like, वो खाना नहीं है. That's langar. That's
लंगर.
not.
And गुरुजी गाने नहीं सुनते थे, शब्द सुनते सी.
Yeah.
तो गाने कौन गांदा सी?
But ठीक है. I mean, it is
So
what it is.
that's to each his own.
Absolutely.
We've seen an era which is I don't think you can repeat it, or you can
We can.
have anybody else experience it. Being there up close and personal, 5 days a week, so many times in the day.
Yes.
I mean, I've driven him.
That
I've
is priceless.
been to Dugri. I've stayed in his house.
Yes.
Which was, of course, a small little house then. Today, I believe Dugri is also another area by itself, which is fine. His popularity is growing, which is nice. The Bade Mandir is the Bada Mandir. Very well organized, I must say, to handle the number of people, but then it's still commercial.
Yes.
It's still commercial and nicely handled, nicely looked after. I mean, but
the way they're managing that with that kind of volume, oh my God, kudos.
The traffic, the cars, the everything. But I wish there was a little less commercialization.
Yes.
That would be my only, hope, that now it's like an industry.
Yeah.
So
everywhere, national, international, everywhere.
Every city seems to be having one.
Yeah.
So I believe
because keep in mind,
they also have the wars of the mandirs now. You heard the one. I believe it's why one faction.
I'm privy to it.
Okay. So, this happens in the US too. There was something I did hear about this. There was a mandir in Edison, and there was some other mandir somewhere. Now there's one in Dubai, I believe. Somebody had started it, and now he's doing it on his own. And the Bada Mandir is saying he's not associated with. Yeah, Guruji is everywhere. Boss, sit at home. Why do you need to go to the mandirs and
Guruji is within you. Guruji is within you. But
he's
the sad part and the
omnipresent.
reality is, you have to keep this in mind that we are outnumbered by people who never met Guruji or have no concept of Guruji. So now you are interacting with people who know very little about Guruji.
Who know very little about him. And you know what I term it as? My term for something like this is religious entertainment.
Yeah.
Is what I call it. when you can't dance at parties, you go to satsangs and start dancing. Come on, man. That's like, रात को डिस्को नहीं जा सकते तो गुरुजी के सत्संग में चल के डांस करती है. Come on, guys. I mean, people would say गुरुजी डांस कराते थे. गुरुजी कब डांस कराते थे? 7 जुलाई को
Special
कराते थे.
occasions पर,
7 जुलाई on his birthday डांस नहीं कराते थे, सबको डांस कराते थे. 31st New Year's Eve we would dance. Baisakhi we would dance. Dance doesn't mean that the whole satsang के हर सत्संग के बाद डांस शुरू हो गई. And people have started saying, oh, जब तक तुम डांस नहीं करोगे तुम्हारा वो पाप नहीं उतरेगा जमीन पे, and you अपने सर पे पाप. Kind of crap people are being fed over here at satsangs, and they're eating it up. And I don't know if it happens in the US or Dubai and stuff. I have not really attended them. But यहाँ पे तो like जब तक dancing हो ना, जब तक सारा family पूरा टब्बर जिन्हों कहते हैं, पूरा टब्बर जाते कर on the stage जाके dance ना करे कि जैसे पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है.
No, we try our best to enforce discipline as much as we can, but kya karo? You know, it is what it is.
So it's a religious entertainment कि यार चलो, let's go out and have a good time. बड़े मंदिर भी लोग आते हैं, functions पे लोग आते हैं, बैसाखियों पे आते हैं. I don't know how many of them really come for Guruji. How many of them come for Guruji? How many just come क्या चलो beautiful वहाँ लंगर लगा हुआ है, गाना बजाना हो रहा है, कौन गा रहा है कभी. I mean, B. Parag is a singer. I don't know if you heard of him.
Yes, I have.
He sings at Guruji's birthdays now. I mean, come on. He's a Hindi. क्या बोलो? Let's leave it there.
Sab go bin there.
I mean, some things are better unsaid.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ek chup so sukh. This is another thing that Guruji used to say also. Yes. So it's time to hold on to that. My last question of you is, you remember the times, Uncle, right, when Sahib would take hum logon ke kasht upon himself and you've seen him unwell. Tell us more about those times when you've experienced something like this.
See, when he used to be in a very bad mood, people would say कि किसी का कष्ट काट रहे हैं. And then there would be times when he would be unwell. He would be throwing up later on at night. And I've never been privy to it, but I would hear Sudha auntie would say कि रात को गुरुजी की तबीयत काफी खराब थी, काफी ये हुआ, किसी ने कष्ट कटे, so he would be agitated, he would be so I think, yeah, of course, kasht kat rahe, something must be definitely happening for him to suddenly being unwell or throwing up or whatever. But these are things which again, like I said, mat baar chhad diyo, you cannot fathom how it's being done, why it's being done. I mean, the fact of him producing prasad, which I've seen.
Yes.
Okay. And giving it to somebody, the Swachkhand ka prasad.
Yes.
You try and tell a normal person and he'll laugh at you, you've gone cookie. And you think to yourself, chodo yaar, why even bring it up? It's happened. Now, if you try and get into the who, what, where, when, why, you'll never arrive at a conclusion. But yes, it used to happen. His agitation, a very agitated frame of mind, and he would be like, doing this to his head. And I can still visualize, if I close my eyes, him sitting over there some days. And then he would get people to, mukki maro, or press his hand or his head. And that would be signs where he would be, people would say he's in pain or he's in discomfort. Just sitting over there, because kiske kash kaat rahe hain, kya kar rahe hain. Nobody would know. But he would, talk about it, कि आज देखा हो ऐसी वो दे कश काट देते हैं आज ठीक हो जाएगा फलाना ढमकाना. So there were so many known names, who used to come there and all. And so he definitely had a soft corner for your dad and people from the armed forces. Always from the army or whatever else, he would always have a soft corner.
Doctors and Fauji's.
Totally. Fauji's
was क्योंकि डॉक्टर्स जो किसी को जान बख्शते हैं और फौजीज वो जो अपनी जान साइन ऑफ करके आ जाते हैं. So yes. Anything else, Uncle, you want to share that's top of mind?
No, not really. I mean, my sharing is to try and get that message across of simplicity to people. Remember him in simplicity. Don't make it a dance and drama affair. That's not him. A satsang is something which you sit quietly and you listen to. And I would urge people to listen to one of the shabads he used to listen to. And we would have a nice laugh at night after that Shabad.
Yeah.
What is it called? In which, there was these four types of people that would come. Unge,
Unge, dunge,
Shunge
chunge.
and Dunge.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Harbans
yeah.
Singh Jagadri Walo ji ka Shabad tha. I don't know
Hanji.
what that Shabad was called. I'll message it to you post this
Yeah,
if you can add
yeah,
it in terms
yeah.
of that Shabad. It
Yes.
was Rakhi, no, not Rakhi Charna de Kol.
It's not Swashadi Mala.
No,
It's
no,
not.
no, no,
I
hang on.
know which one you're talking about.
I
Yeah.
have it on the back of my head because I listen to it in the car at times, and it's called. Uh, anyway, I'll try and say. So, and that's something people should listen to. So, char kisam de loki anden, unge, chunge, sunge, de dunge.
Right, right.
Ungas are the highest class of people that come.
Yeah,
Who finish their work, they come, they close their eyes, and they just pass out.
yeah,
And
yeah.
they get out of their trance when the guy comes and says, Langar lag gaya ji. So that's the highest class.
Right, right.
Tunge are the kind that would come and sit down and fidgety left and right, and who's coming, what's she wearing, and what's he wearing, or oh kitho aaya, oh bhi aa gaya Guruji kol, oh dekho oh bhi aa gaya Guruji kol. So those were the second type of people, and always there to make connections or to make some kind of social networking, as you would call it, or whatever. Then there was the other class which would come and just enjoy the thing and take back something with them, imbibe the Shabad and learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the fourth class, which was the ultimate, something on those lines. It's called. So
Yes.
people should listen to these. Keep the simplicity going. Don't make it into a race. That ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਲੰਗਰ ਕੌਣ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਜੀ, ਮੈਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਕਿੰਨੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਨੇ, ਅੱਛਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਪਰ ਹੈਡ ਇੰਨਾ ਕਾਸਟ ਆਈ ਹੈ. These things are irrelevant. Make a dal and a sabzi at home.
Yeah.
Why do you need caterers? Why do you want to have kinne loki aaye? I mean, if you have 5 people, it's a satsang. You have come here to connect with him, not to connect with the 500 others who are sitting on your left and right. So,
Absolutely. That you make a beautiful point about this, because it has become so common that satsang has become very less about Guru Sahib, and it's become more about pleasing people.
It's
The
a social
timing,
gathering.
langar is going to be served around when somebody will come.
Yeah.
Aarti will happen when somebody will come. Where is Guruji in all this?
It's a social gathering.
Yeah.
It's no longer a satsang. Satsang is when you sit quietly, close your eyes, and you connect.
Yeah.
But today it's a complete gathering which is happening, and like I said, so it's a business. So I think my message would probably be from, let's put it this way, the old school thought is that the simpler the better.
Yeah.
And that's where you will really connect. So if you really ask somebody, you came for a satsang today, what did you connect? They won't have an answer, because they're busy with their mobile phones. They're busy with watching who's coming, who's going, who's wearing what, who's not wearing what. And that's really it. So keep it simple, keep it small. That's what I try and do. You want to connect, just close the room door, put on a Shabad, and it's happening.
Yeah.
And you find your answers there, and then you find your answers then.
Yep. I really pray that may Guru Sahib give us all the strength and the wisdom to invoke his presence within us, and we stop going helter and skelter and doing things to please the others. But that requires strength from him and gurmat from him. But this has been great, Uncle. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was nice chatting. I'm seeing you after quite a few years now, but yeah, it was nice.
Yes. We look forward to seeing you here in New Jersey.
I hope so.
You have your visa.
Visa has never been the problem. It's just to take out the time and I just find the US too far now. Yeah,
it's so too far. 13 hours you'll be here.
I know, but maybe someday.
Yes,
still a long way, and so all the best to you and a happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali, Jai
You
Guruji.
spent a lot of great Diwalis. You spent a lot of great Diwalis with Guruji. It was, in fact,
Any memories from Diwali?
Diwali, it was like festive. It was as festive as it could be.
He used to give us silver coins also sometimes.
Yeah, he would. People
we received that. Yes.
Whatever would come, he would. So yeah, Diwali would be like everybody would be try and be there, and he would say, "Ki program fir Diwali da mein Guruji, आओ फिर शाम में बैठिए."
Yeah.
It meant come. So वही 7, 7:15, people would start coming. People would do pujas at their own homes and then come. And it would never be a large show. It would just be the inner group of 70, 60,
Intimate. Yeah.
50, 60 people. In fact, we are doing it now on, again at Empire Estate on, I think, Thursday. When is
I
it?
wish I was there.
Yeah. So again,
Too far.
small because there's a lot of complications of number of people now, and it's not what it used to be because it is. So yeah, so he would like sit there, and he would come out for 5 minutes, and we would say, "Guruji, aa jao, thode patake chala rahe hain." So he'd come and he'd stand there like this in the balcony and just see a few hours go off and this and that, and then we'd sit. But I must tell you a very interesting thing about Diwali. I think it was on a Diwali night, and I'm not sure. So it got late and it was cold. No, sorry, that was a New Year's Eve, where he came to my house next door. And it was New Year's Eve, and by the time it finished, it was almost 12:30 over here at Empire, the house, and it was cold. So he said, "What ठंडा है?" मैं गुरुजी आग जलाई हुई है बगल में, कितने में घर, and then आ जाओ. So he looked around for a few minutes and said, "अच्छा चल चलिए." He came to our house. We sat outside and we had lit a fire. Not planned for him to come, but when he comes, 5, 7, 10, 15 people come with him. So they all came, we sat around the fire, we did our stuff, and we started running out of wood because he was enjoying himself. It was 2:30 in the morning. And I still remember Sati and I broke one of our dining chairs to put into the fire so that, the wood...
It keeps going. Yeah.
Going, and we didn't want Guruji to leave.
Yeah. Wow.
That's what it was. So those were the... in fact, if we still have 5 minutes, I'd like to come back. Yeah. I'd like to come back to what we spoke about, simplicity.
Yeah.
And these were his own words. It's a satsang in its own self. So after I had started going to him, many years, I think a year passed or something, and I would tell him, "Guruji, तुसी कहाँ रहो?" So, we would go to other people's homes, and I would keep telling him, "मैं आवांगा, मैं दसांगा, चल मैं दसना."
Right.
One day we were going somewhere, and I think he was in my car, or I was driving the car, or whatever else it was, and something happened. I got a little, let's put it this way, agitated. I said, "Guruji, हर जगह तुसी चले जाते हो, मैं पता नहीं कितने साल दा कह रहा कि आओ साडे घर आओ, तुसी आंदे नहीं हो." Like this thing है ना, रूठ गया हूं मैं गुरुजी. He says, "कमलिया, मैं तेरे घर रहना, मैनू आंख की लोड़ नहीं दिखाने वास्ते लोकां नू, तैनू दिखाना है ना लोकां नू, चल कल तो तू लाइटा लगवा ते मैं डेट दसना तैनू, फिर गुरुजी तेरे घर आएंगे." कहंदे ਉਹ ਆਣਾ नहीं ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦਾ मैं ਉੱਥੇ ਹੈਗਾ, तू ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬੁਲਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਤੂੰ ਡੇਟ ਦੱਸ, ਮੈਂ ਉਸੇ ਦਿਨ ਆ ਜਾਵਾਂਗਾ, ਵੈਸੇ ਮੈਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੈਗਾ. So that was the day, and never ever ever asked him after that कि ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਏ नहीं. Right. And there have been times he slept in my house. So I've never made a pomp and show about it. He slept in my bedroom. Yeah. And he came home and there was some work happening, and so that's the way it is. It's you don't need to show people that he's there, he's come. But आजकल की डेट में तो showmanship ही है कि जब तक I've seen, I mean, again, a very absurd thing. I don't know where I saw it. Was it in Dubai or US or here in Delhi somewhere? I mean, वो गुरुजी का सत्संग हो रहा है, लोग लिटरली वो पालकी लेके जा रहे हैं, पालकी में फोटो रखी हुई है गुरुजी की. Yes. I mean, come on, guys. It's, where are these things coming from? Yeah. Next you'll say कि जी किसी के घर में शादी है, घोड़ी के ऊपर गुरुजी की फोटो लेके आ रहे हैं. I mean, absurd. Yes. Where these palkis and cars, convertible cars में गुरुजी की फोटो लेके, तो आगे पीछे वो शब्द, वो क्या बज रहे हैं, आरती बज रही है या गुरुजी का बैंड वाला जो है. Yes. So I don't know where these things are coming from and how it's being done. Only Guruji knows. Guruji knows. Yeah, so coming back to the Diwali story, so he would come out, and then of course there'd be langar, there'd be something special that day. Kheer bani hai. He would decide the menu. I remember sitting with him. Ki bana rahe ho Diwali vaste? Acha, ये कर दियो, वो कर दियो. So then वो kheer बनती थी, कुछ होता था. Again, simple 2 things. A thali, you've seen it, how we put it out over there. And in fact, we did this the other day. Let me just see if I have that picture on me. I'll just show it with you. I just felt like the old times just last week. Or was it last week? These days we also do that seva in the morning where one cleans the, chola is changed and everything is done.
Right.
Just kind of
Yes. Empire State. Yes.
sitting right there, and they're cleaning the, the brass, his hand, and just change of chola. Every Monday, this is done.
Beautiful.
The flowers are changed, and his chola is changed, and the
Right.
swarup, just everything. Photographs, cleaned, and everything else.
Very nice. Very nice. That's awesome.
ठीक है
But
जी.
this has been great. Unfiltered, straight from the heart. Thank you so much.
Straight from the heart can get you in trouble at times.
Doesn't matter.
That's okay.
Honestly, by and large, the best policy.
I'm known as a troublemaker too. So I call a spade a spade. What is agrees, I agree. What I don't agree, I don't agree.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the commercialization and the unsimplicity of everything that is happening today. But the unfortunate part is that there's nobody to stop it.
Yeah.
There is a body of the Bada Mandir that can stop it, but
I don't think anybody can.
No,
because it's happening at such a scale, and it's happening everywhere, that what do you police? You know what I'm saying?
No, but what is the question of police? You're setting your own example by doing these things yourself.
I agree. Then
where does the policing come in? Today, if there is let's say there's the Bangla Sahib Gurdwara committee, they may ensure that you don't have, the Akhand parts going haywire. So the same thing can be done here. You can have a committee of the Bada Mandir saying, no, don't do these things. These are not permitted, or these are not what Guruji was. But unfortunately, you're not policing it for whatever reasons, and
sunta kaun hai? That's the thing.
That's also
ne karni apni manmani hai. So sunta koi nahi hai.
Koi nahi
Yeah.
Chalo, great ji.
Hanji, thank you so much. Jai Guruji.
Most welcome. And Jai Guruji, thank you for
happy Diwali.
Having me, and happy Diwali to you, and see you soon sometimes.
Yes, see you soon.
All right.